Senate is about Nigeria and Nigerians.
I look forward to collaborating with you. Please link us properly with your Congress people.
Senate President calls for deeper collaborations between Nigeria and the United States of America. And National Social Investment Program Amendment Bill scales second reading. Good to have you join us on yet another episode of Inside the Senate, a program that brings to your screen activities of the Red Chamber of the National Assembly and its members. I am Aisha Mohammed Ahmed, your anchor on the program. Last week, the National Social Investment Program Agency Act 2023 came up for amendment and was debated at second reading. Details of the sections requiring amendments will be disclosed in the course of the program. Also on the program is a review of the motions considered in the week under review, alongside reports of a courtesy visit to the Senate President by a delegation of the American Embassy in Nigeria. These and more coming your way shortly. Don't go away.
We are fighting for this democracy. This country will definitely improve in terms of development and progress.
Nigerians deserve better living.
What is the team? And the legislature, they are going to put in their best for a better Nigeria.
Thanks for staying tuned. In the week under review, the Senate considered a number of motions and bills for first reading. Let's have a highlight of the plenary from our studio.
Lead debate on the National Social Investment Program Agency Establishment Act.
On Tuesday, the 10th of October 2023, a bill standing in the name of the Senate Majority Leader, Senator Bamidele Michael Okpeyemi, was presented on the floor of the Senate for concurrence. The bill was titled Defense Industries Corporation of Nigeria Act Amendment Bill 2023. Other bills presented for first reading include National Social Investment Program Agency Act 2003 Amendment Bill 2023, Electricity Act Amendment Bill 2023, Nigerian Oil and Gas Industry Content Development Act Repeal and Reenactment Bill 2023, sponsored by Senator Ohere Sadiku Abubakar, Nigerian Tea Development Authority Bill 2023 SB 162, sponsored by Senator David S.U. Jim Kuta, Central Bank of Nigeria Act Amendment Bill 2023, sponsored by Senator Nwokocha Darlington.
In this chamber,
among the bills presented on that day, the National Social Investment Program Agency Act 2003 Amendment Bill 2023 SB 163 was considered for second reading. An executive bill, the Senate leader, while leading the debate, noted that the amendment sought was for proper and effective management and implementation of the National Social Investment Programs under the direct supervision of the President and Commander-in-Chief.
You will recall the National Social Investment Program was created in 2016 by the last administration, while the National Social Investment Program Agency Act was enacted this year to address socioeconomic inequalities and alleviate poverty among Nigerians through 4 social support programs meant to empower the poorest and most vulnerable Nigerians to attain an acceptable standard of living.
Senator Bamidele said that the bill sought to amend sections 9 subsection 3, 14 subsection 1, 21 subsection 1, 22 subsection 1, 26 subsection 1, and 23 of the National Social Investment Program Agency Act as a result of the commitment of the renewed hope mantra of President Bola Tinubu in ensuring that social investment programs are standard, transparent, effective, and have accountable structure of delivery.
This amendment, a wide range of sustainable development goals, including poverty reduction, education, health, social inclusion, and empowerment, can be achieved through the NSIPA Act and countries, NSIPA agency, and countries the world over have recognized and deployed similar social support programs as an effective strategy for poverty reduction, social development, and economic growth.
Other senators made contributions in support of the amendments.
This act should be supported by all. It's a simple reason, just very simple reason, to better the lives of the poorest of the poor of this country. Bring it under my watch. I want to supervise it myself. I'm concerned. This is just a simple thing. It's a simple message. Therefore, all we need to do is to simply tow in the same direction with Mr. President. Let's join him to make sure that we better the lives of the poor of this country.
We must participate fully through our committees, relevant committees, to ensure that the capturing of those that are supposed to be beneficiaries, the vulnerable that need the support, is done in such a way that the National Assembly, the legislature, is satisfied. Secondly, we had problems with then Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs. National Assembly needed to be also part and parcel of the distribution process, at least even if to supervise them properly. That was not properly done. And in fact, at the end of the day, most of the time, if not all the time, the support will be sent to the states, and members of the National Assembly will be onlookers.
The former Senate President mentioned that there were some lacunas and loopholes in the previous or this one that we are trying to amend. We made the law. We made the law. If there was a problem with the law, we should take responsibility. It was under his leadership. Now, as he said, that there is opportunity to look at these things and amend it again. It is the time to do it right. It is not the responsibility and it is not dignifying for a senator, after making a law, to start talking to a minister that came here before, asking that we should be included in any process. Because that law is supposed to have defined it. So when we are doing the law, we should do it right, so that our responsibility will not be to go and beg any minister, but to oversight.
Though in support of the amendment of the bill, Senator Seriake Dixon from Bayelsa West suggested time should be taken to amend the bill.
I don't think that anyone here on either side is opposed in principle to an amendment of this legislation. No one is also opposed to the continuation of this policy. But, Mr. President, if we must do something, we must do it well, must do it rightly. There are issues that we must use this opportunity to critically address and streamline properly. As the former President of the Senate rightly, in my view, said, for example, can't we take advantage of this amendment now to streamline how the vulnerable people in this country who are going to benefit from this are captured? Because that has been a major concern.
Senate President Akpabio also made his submission on the amendment of the bill.
There were complaints out there in the public that even the social register, people did not even know. And then there was also the question of who are the beneficiaries. And they said they are too poor to be named. Every beneficiary of government patronage would be very proud to be named in various communities, that yes, indeed, government recognizes me and government has seen my plight. And the person will go to church, will go to the mosque to go and pray for government and be thankful to government. But what I heard, what I used to read was that they were too poor to be named, and that it might lead to stigmatization. And the senators, I don't think you have forgotten that I have about 11 petitions on this issue. So, yes, I have about 11 petitions on this issue. So, it will still be need for us to look at what was done. There will still be need for us to look at what was done, because government is a continuum.
After the debate, the Senate voted for the bill to be read a second time, after which it was referred to the Committee of the Whole to be considered on the next legislative day.
The Senate also notes that the oil sector in Nigeria plays a pivotal role.
Moving on to motions, those considered during plenary in the week under review include a motion sponsored by Senator Nat'l from Delta North Senatorial District and co-sponsored by the other two senators from Delta State, namely Senator Ede Dafinone Omeyiwa and Senator Joel Onoakpa Thomas. It was on the urgent need to investigate the incessant and nefarious act of crude oil thefts in the Niger Delta.
The Senate notes that Nigeria is largely dependent on crude oil for its economic growth and development. According to the National Bureau of Statistics, the oil sector contributed 6.33% of the nation's GDP, which translates to 45.6 billion in 2022.
Senator Nwoko stated that statistical data which has been reported over the years, even till date, have shown that pipeline vandalism, oil bunkering, have brought Nigeria into serious socio-economic crisis and remain an intractable challenge to the Nigerian oil-dependent economy. Other senators contributed to the motion.
Our security agents, their lack of collaboration in the area is one of the major causes of this problem. The civil defense, they are doing theirs. The Navy will be doing their own. The Nigerian Army will be doing their own. Mr. President, let me just say that back at my backyard at home, a Nigerian soldier will be posted down to the pipeline at a point. In less than 2 weeks, the soldier will own a car. I think what they are just doing in that area is a kind of settlement for some security agencies.
The figures for production for the second quarter are actually at 28% below the budget targets. This gives us a significant impact on the ability to execute capital projects, and therefore I believe that the figures can be shored up if we are to reduce the level of oil theft, and it would give us a greater opportunity to execute capital projects in the year 2023 and beyond.
The prayer on the motion was to urge the Senate Committees of Petroleum Resources upstream and downstream, gas, Niger Delta and host community to conduct an investigation into the actions of security forces, militia groups, the local populace, oil company employees, and any individuals or entities suspected to be using sophisticated methods to pilfer from oil facilities within the country. The motion was adopted.
From 2014 to 2018, and a global market share of about 11%.
In another motion, Senator Sunday Marshall Katun from Kaduna South Senatorial District drew the attention of the Senate to the urgent need to address the outbreak of a deadly disease affecting ginger production in southern Kaduna.
The state ranks the highest in ginger production in Nigeria, contributing to Nigeria's place as one of the largest producers of ginger in the world, with a production average of more than 300,000 tons during the 5-year period from 2014 to 2018, and a global market share of about 11%, trailing only India.
The application of ginger in pharmaceutical, food, and nutritional industry is immeasurable. So therefore, I will appreciate that we accord this motion the urgency and the necessity it requires, so that the required steps can be taken to salvage the situation.
Some people, on hearing about the disease, almost collapsed. If you go to the southern Kaduna today, a lot of homes have been shattered by this disease because their economy has been affected drastically.
The research, agric research institutions, if you go through the budget, you find out that the provision, what we provide in for those institutions is so infinitesimal, so little to even carry out a particular one little research or the other. I think, thank God that this motion is coming quite ahead
of the time we're expecting to have the national budget. I'm in full support that we should stem up strength of these research institutes.
The motion was adopted. Accordingly, the Senate resolved to mandate its Committee on Agricultural Production and Rural Development to interface with the hierarchy of the National Agricultural Quarantine Services and its supervisory ministry, the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, towards conducting an immediate on-the-spot assessment tour of all affected areas of the ginger pandemic in southern Kaduna. Call on the Nigerian Center for Disease Control and Prevention to immediately coordinate surveillance systems to collect, analyze, interpret data on this disease towards the prevention of further spread. Call on the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, to immediately and as a matter of particular urgency to provide palliatives to the affected ginger farmers of southern Kaduna, whose means of livelihood have been crippled by the disease that has destroyed their production of the crop, and make further directives as deemed expedient in the circumstances. Meanwhile, plenary did not hold on Thursday, the 12th of October 2023. This was due to the tragic loss of a colleague in the Green Chamber, Honorable Abdul Qadir Damboga, lawmaker representing Isa, Sabon Birni Federal Constituency of Sokoto State, whose sad event occurred in the early hours of Wednesday, 11th of October 2023, after a brief illness.
May the soul of our departed brother, late Honorable Abdul Qadir Jelani Damboga, representing Isa, Sabon Birni Federal Constituency of Sokoto State, who died on Wednesday, 11th day of October 2023, rest in peace. Amen.
After observing a minute's silence in honor of the deceased, a motion for re-adjournment was moved by the Senate leader, Senator Bamidele Michael Okpeyemi, thereby seeing the Senate adjourning to Tuesday, the 17th of October 2023 by 10 a.m. The rules guiding membership of Senate committees provides that each special and standing committee shall comprise of no less than 5 members and more than 10 members, including the chairman and vice chairman. The rules also provide that no senator shall serve as a member of more than 3 committees, while committee chairmen shall not serve as members of more than 2 other committees. The rules, however, do not cover the selection committee, of which none of its members is allowed to be a committee chairman but can serve as a member of other committees as provided for by the rules.
The program is Inside the Senate. Earlier on, we took reports from plenary highlighting motions as well as bills read a first and second time. We will now take a report from the office of the Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, who on Tuesday, 10th October 2023, called for deeper collaborations between Nigeria and the United States of America. He made the call while addressing a delegation from the American Embassy in Nigeria, led by Charge d'Affaires David Green, who paid him a courtesy visit at the complex of the National Assembly in Abuja.
I look forward to collaborating with you. Please link us properly with your Congress people and the Democratic Institute in America for us to have proper training and retraining in order to build capacity for our own legislators in general, not just in the Senate, not just in the House of Representatives, but across the nation.
Senator Akpabio urged the American government to persist in its role as a guardian because the world requires the guiding influence of its oldest democracy.
America particularly has done very well for all democracies across the world. Don't be tired of doing it. I know it costs a lot, but in terms of monetary indices as well as the toll on lives. Some of your people have had to pay the supreme sacrifice in many countries to the world. So sometimes people refer to America as the world's peacemaker.
Speaking earlier on the objective of the meeting, Mr. Green stated that his team was seeking collaborative effort with the Nigerian Senate on multiple fronts.
The way in which power is divided and shared between executive, legislative, and judicial systems, and the way in which an elected legislature works. So the reason that I'm here today, along with the members of my team that were identified, was to pay a courtesy call on His Excellency the President of the Senate, to congratulate him on both his election and, of course, his election as President of the Senate, as well as those present to congratulate them, to introduce myself, and to simply express my aspiration that we be able to work together to achieve great things for both the Nigerian and the American people.
The visit saw the exchange of souvenirs between the hosts and the visitors.
Let's face the camera.
Up next on the program is our profile segment. Please continue watching as we introduce our featured Senator of the Week. Senator Jimoh Ibrahim Folorunsho is the senator representing Ondo South Senatorial District in the 10th Senate. He was elected under the platform of the All Progressives Congress, APC. Born on the 24th of February 1967, Senator Jimoh Ibrahim is a native of Okitipupa in Ondo State, Nigeria. He had his primary and secondary school education at the St. John's School, Igbotako, Ondo State. He later went on to study law at Obafemi Awolowo University in Ile-Ife, Osun State, where he graduated with a Bachelor of Laws (LLB) degree. He went further to obtain a master's in public administration from the same institution. Afterwards, he attended Harvard University in Cambridge, Massachusetts, USA, where he graduated with a combined Master of Laws and Master's in International Taxation degree. His investments include the following sectors, among others: oil and gas distribution, hotels, resorts, airlines, banking, real estate, insurance, publishing, and investments. They include Air Nigeria, formerly Virgin Nigeria, Nikon Insurance, Nigeria Reinsurance Corporation, Lagos, Nat'l Luxury Hotel, formerly Le Meridian Hotel, Abuja, Global Fleet Oil and Gas, a chain of gasoline stations across Nigeria, among others. In 2003, Senator Jimoh Ibrahim unsuccessfully contested for the governor of Ondo State under the All Nigerian People's Party (ANPP). Still pursuing his ambition of becoming the governor of Ondo State, he contested again in 2016 under the People's Democratic Party (PDP) and was still unsuccessful. In 2023, he contested in the senatorial election to represent Ondo South Senatorial District in the 10th Senate under the platform of the All Progressives Congress, APC, and came out victorious. Senator Jimoh Ibrahim Folorunsho is the Deputy Chairman, Senate Committee on Gas Resources of the 10th Senate. It is on that note we draw the curtain on this week's edition of Inside the Senate. Don't forget to communicate your questions and opinions via any of our feedback channels. Stay safe and see you next week.